joining me, or whoever's out there. All right, I'm in a different room today with camps going on and be kind of not so great weather out there. Figured I'd find a different room so they could use the dance room to play Gaga. So I'm fine with letting the kids have their fun, and we'll make this work. So I hope everybody can see and hear me. We're going to focus on what we've been focusing on. A lot of shoulder blade, mid-spine, mobility, movement. Again, especially if you spend a lot of time sitting in a chair. So this will be helpful. One thing that I would recommend too, and I did a video on it probably back in March, maybe early April, when all this craziness started about how to get the most out of a foam roller. If you do find that you tend to have really tight discomfort between your shoulder blades up into your neck, mid-back, even down into your lower back, spending some time rolling out mid to upper spine and along these muscles here, maybe doing a little bit with the foam roller on your chest muscles, really would help if you're with that. If you pair it with the exercise we're doing. I'm not going to go through that today, just in the interest of time, plus I forgot to bring a foam roller anyway. So, but anyway, if you have a pillow handy, I have a medicine ball here that I'm going to use. We're going to do some rotational exercises like we did last week. But before we get started, again, I like to continue doing some kind of a breathing drill. Just get you used to doing it, making it a habit. We use it to set alignment prior to workouts. You can use it for recovery. You can use it to kind of settle down some of those tight muscles of your upper and lower back. Lots of really good reasons for doing it. So we're going to start each class with it. If nothing else, if you join me or if you watch this later and you do it, you're going to get something good. I'm going to use the wall here today. We've been using a chair. That's fine. Again, if you've been following along with these classes, pick the position that works best for you. I'm going to put my feet against the wall, have my knees and hips bent 90 degrees-ish. So something like so. All right. And then from here, I'm going to just gently push my feet into the wall to just lift my hips or my pelvis up just a little bit. And I'm going to just keep it there. Basically, we're talking 1 inch, 2 inches tops. All right. From there, again, I like to use both hands, one on my chest, one on my abdominal area. And as I take a nice big inhale in, I should feel both of those hands rise. All right. I should also feel, if I were to put my hands on the side of my ribs on the inhale, push outward. And I should also feel upper and lower back pushing into the ground. So think 360 degrees right around your rib cage. On the inhale, that's where you should be feeling it. Then as we exhale, almost pretend like you're exhaling through a straw between pursed lips. Feeling those abs turn on, ribs come down and together. All right? So let's do 8 to 10 breaths. Inhale, exhale, pause for 2 or 3 seconds, repeat 10 times. That was one, kind of gives you a perspective of how much air you want to get in and get out. All right. That can definitely seem like it's going on forever and ever, but I love it. I think it's awesome. So spend some time with your breathing. Again, at the end of a long work day, prior to going to bed, great way to kind of get those, tone everything down and get you in that kind of chill mode where you can relax and get ready for some sleep. All right, so other things we've been working on. Again, most of the main focus of what I've been trying to do, particularly with the Tuesdays class, is really work on getting some movement in this part of our spine, mid-spine, while keeping that lower back just pretty much stable. Just keep that normal inward curve and not excessively arch, round, side bend, or rotate. All right. One of the things that will affect our ability to move through our mid-spine is, again, if we tend to be slumped forward, again, think spending a lot of time at a computer, staring at your phone. When we're in this position here, we tend to be a little or excessively rounded in that upper back, and that's really going to limit our ability to move this way into extension or rotate side to side. So if we're overly flexed or rounded forward, it's really going to limit our movement. And guess where we tend to get the movement? Probably our lower back. All right. So let's do the camel exercise that we've been doing. I think it's a really good one to kind of just get that spine moving through a full range of motion, but a comfortable, pain-free range of motion. And again, we can keep our low back out of it by just sitting back, like so. All right? So from here, we're just going to inhale. Think about pushing those shoulder blades towards the ceiling. And then on the exhale, think about kind of pushing your chest up. And we're going to do that 4 more times each. So for a total of 5. All right, good. Now we're going to work on a little rotation in that mid-spine. I like to use a medicine ball, really any kind of ball. If you have a basketball, soccer ball, that works. A couple of pillows stacked on top of each other, one pillow, foam roller works really, really awesome. So hopefully you guys can see the way I'm set up in this room here. But again, bottom leg's going to stay straight. Top leg, we're going to bend the hip and knee about 90 degrees. Again, that's going to help keep that rotation or movement out of our lower back. You know what, let's do it this way. I'm going to face this way so you can actually see the rotation aspect of it. So again, we're going to sit up like so. Bottom hand, you grab the top of that thigh, just kind of keep it in position. I'm going to reach long with my top hand. And remember what I said last week, eyes are going to follow the hand. We want the ribs, chest, everything to rotate as one. We don't want to just stretch out the front of the shoulder. So we're going to reach. And then think about tracing a semicircle on the floor above your head. And let's do like 6 each side. Reach. I'm inhaling, and then I'm just slowly exhaling, trying to settle into the greatest range of motion I can. Trying to bring my arm and my shoulder blades as close to the floor as I can. That's 2. Obviously, I can't keep my arm completely straight just because I'm close to the wall here, but you get the idea.
couple more windmills on this side, and then we're going to switch. All right, let's switch sides. Again, bottom leg is going to be straight, top leg, bend the hip and knee about 90 degrees, rest it comfortably on that pillow, ball, foam roller, whatever you have. Again, top arm, we're going to reach, eyes follow that hand, make sure you're breathing. Exhale as you rotate, trying to bring your arm, shoulder blade as close to the ground as you can. So again, we'll do 6 on this side. That was 1. 5 more. Again, don't rush it. Take your time. Don't force what's not there. Again, use that breathing to get a little extra range of motion without forcing it. Good. Next exercise is going to be our shoulder blade floor slides. So again, we're going to set up like so. Hopefully you guys can see me all right. So knees bent, feet flat on the ground. Bend your elbows. Make sure your shoulder blades and your arms are on the ground. Then again, what we want to focus on is not letting that low back arch as we slide our arms overhead. So we're going to start, exhale, tilt your pelvis slightly upwards so your low back is gently pushing into the ground. Hold that position, and as you exhale, slide arms up as far as you can, keeping them in contact or as close to the ground as you can. Inhale on the way down. All right, good. So a real life application for that particular movement, arms overhead, would be doing some kind of an overhead press with a weight. If you're working out in the gym, not working out in gyms now, I know, but if you're at home and you have weights, or you're doing, one of our outdoor classes or an outdoor class someplace else, shoulder press, military press is a really common, and it's a really good exercise. One of the faults, though, is if you're going overhead and you have to arch your back to get all the way overhead, you're putting a lot of stress on your lower back. So really focusing on using those abs on the front side to counteract that excessive arch will really open up a lot of that mobility in the overhead position. So really work on doing it as we're doing here before you load it up. So if you find as you go overhead, lifting weights, your lower back's bothering you, just pay attention next time you do it. As you go overhead, do you feel like you're arching your back? Or do you feel those abs firmly on? Low back stays in a good position, and you're able to do it without any discomfort. So that's what we're looking for here. All right, next thing we're going to do, we've got about 10 more minutes, is just kind of work on a sitting pattern. And I know, all right, Jay, I sit all the time. Why should I work on a sitting pattern? Well, I'm talking about sitting on the floor. So what we call our cross sit, and I'm not really the greatest at this, but one of the things I wanted to point out, we're going to start with this position here, is making sure that we're keeping our upper body really over our center of gravity, or think about over our hips. So I'll turn to the side. So oftentimes, if we're really round shouldered, see how I'm kind of really rounding my low back? Basically my upper body, my shoulders are behind my hips. This isn't really a good, comfortable position that I'm going to be able to keep for very long without having some aches in my back. But if I come up, try to get those shoulders right over my hips, and then just practice breathing and keeping that position until I get to the point where I can hold it for longer and longer. I think that'll really help, really keeping your spine in a good position as you go into more loaded exercises, squats, deadlifts, things like that. The other thing you can do, if you find that you just can't hold yourself up for very long without rocking back, if you have a pillow, actually I don't really have one here. I'm going to steal one from my prop here for the camera. Hopefully you guys can still see. But what you can always do is just something to bolster you up a little bit. Shift your center of gravity a little bit so you can maintain it. So now, if I'm up like so, in my cross sit position, it's a lot easier for me to keep that shoulders stacked over my hips. I'm feeling my abs on, kind of counterbalancing with the low back, and I can just focus on this position here. So maybe spending some time when you get home, or if you're working from home, you get tired of sitting at your desk or your computer. If you have a laptop, just focus sitting in a little bit of a different position. And again, try to make sure that you're not pushing back behind your hips, being up tall, right over your hips, and just focus on breathing and keeping that good position. All right, so let's go back to the top. There's some things we can add to that too, like reaching, and we'll do that as we move forward each week. So let's do another round of each exercise that we just did. Again, we're going to do the cat camel. If you like, if it feels more comfortable on your lower back, you can rock back. And then inhale. Think about pushing your shoulder blades towards the ceiling. Exhale. Kind of bring that chest up. 4 more. Good. Now we're going to do our mid-spine rotation drill. So again, any kind of ball, doesn't have to be super big, pillow, foam roller. Top leg, bent about 90 degrees at the hip and knee, bottom arm, clasp that thigh, keep it in a good position. Eyes follow that top hand, reach, and then rotate. It's like you're drawing a little circle, a half circle on the ground. Exhale, try to bring your shoulder blades towards the ground as close as you can. Now if you're feeling it a lot, or mostly in the front of your shoulder, chances are you're just doing this and you're just stretching out the front of the shoulder. So that's why you want to keep your eyes on that hand and really focus on rotating through that rib cage. Do 4 more on this side, and then we're going to switch. Use that breathing, exhale. All right, let's switch sides. All right, so reach. I got eyes on that top hand. Reach. And draw that half circle. Again, we're gonna exhale and just settle into that furthest position we can go. Trying to get your shoulder blades as close to the ground as possible without forcing it. That's important. So a real world application of having good rotation through that mid spine would be like the backswing on your golf swing. If you're really locked up here, we're probably going to get a lot of that rotation through our lower spine. And over time, that's probably going to cause you some pain and discomfort. So really working on being able to rotate through that mid spine without really excessively moving through your lower spine is going to be a real win for you. All right, let's do one more set of the floor slides with shoulder blades. Again, we want to make sure low back is gently pushed into the ground, feeling those abs, ribs are down. So this side, we're going to do 8 total per side, but let's do one at a time. So I'm going to alternate. First, one side reach, exhale. Inhale on the back, way back down. Exhale, other side. Then try to keep shoulder blades down and arm touching the ground the entire time. And remember, as you go overhead, don't let that low back arch. You should still be feeling those abs working. Exhale as you go overhead. One more each side. All right, good. Now one other little tip for that kind of cross-leg sit that we were working on. You can use, again, some kind of a pillow as high as you need to get your shoulders over your hips. keeping just that normal inward curve to your low back. We don't want to be excessively rounded here. So good neutral position, ribs are down on the front, feeling those abs. What you could gradually do then is decrease the size of that bolster till you get to the point where your butt's on the ground and you're able to hold that position, breathe and maintain it for longer and longer periods of time. The other thing you can do is just add a counterweight. So we get into our cross sit position here. So again, say if you're struggling and it's hard for you to keep up, just put some kind of weight in front of you. The further away from you it is, the more it's going to help bring you back over your center of gravity. All right. Just make sure though that you're not overarching or it's not heavy enough where it's putting a lot of stress on your lower back. And then from here, we could just do a series of 5-10 breaths, really focusing on keeping that brace around our spine, shoulders above our hips. And again, your hips will definitely gain a lot of benefit from that. If you sit in a chair a lot, knees bent, it'll really help open up those hips, get those external rotators doing their job, and overall feeling better. So, nothing wrong with sitting, it's how you sit. So, get off that chair, get on the floor, give that a try, let me know how it goes, and we will be back to this on Thursday with another set of exercises. Thanks for joining me.